Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.
Hi, this is George Swift from Bigger, Brighter, Bolder, and welcome to the Leveling Up Podcast. The Leveling Up Podcast is here to give you the personal development, the entrepreneurial development, and the business growth that you, the ambitious business owner, desires. I'm here to give you the inspiration, the motivation, but above all else, to challenge your aspirations to take you and your business to the next level. Don't forget, please subscribe and never miss an episode. Today, I want to talk to you about blunt force trauma. So many business owners make things way too complicated. On Monday, we talked about the two focuses, the only two focuses you really have in business, which is sales and delivery. People get so caught up in all the nuances of running a business that they get so bogged down that they actually don't do the things they need to do in order to get the result they're after, which I'm assuming, if you're listening to this podcast right now, is to continue to grow your business, maybe even to get some massive growth in your business. So going back to a previous career of mine, a previous job of mine many, many moons ago, I used to do a lot of self-defense. I used to train with people, used to teach the military. I would train with people, used to train doormen. I've worked with doormen myself and bodyguards, and I used to be a kickboxing coach, a martial arts coach. I've done some mixed martial arts many moons ago. If you saw me today, I'm very much in disguise. But here's the thing, blunt force trauma is very much overlooked in life. So I want to share with you an analogy using three components of what I've just talked about. 1, martial arts. 2, competitive kickboxing. 3, self-defense, street fighting. Now, each one of these are very different. They might all come under the same scope of martial arts, if you like, but fundamentally, they're all very, very different things. Martial arts is an art form. You go there to master the nuances of martial arts, to learn control of your body, your mind. You warm up, you stretch, you progressively stretch for greater flexibility so you can do high kicks, flipping kicks, whipping, windmill, looping kicks. It's an art form. You learn weapons, not practical weapons. You learn swords and long staffs, and you might learn how to use a chain or a whip, or that sounds weird, but you get what I'm saying. Now, you go into kickboxing, for example, and you lose 90% of that, maybe 98% of that. You bring it down to a few functional things: jabs, crosses, hooks, uppercuts. You keep your kicks basic. All the windmilling kicks and stuff, they're in the gym, they're in the dojo, they're in the garden. That's when you're showing off on YouTube. When you get in the ring, you keep it simple and functional. Let's take it one step further and let's take it to the street. All of a sudden, it's a completely different ballgame. Everything you do needs to work, needs to be super functional. You're not warming up, you're not limbering up, you're not stretching. You don't go for the head kicks, you don't go even for the chest kicks. Where you're kicking, you take out the legs, the knees, the thighs, you keep it low. You will be punching, you're going to be breaking knuckles and all sorts, breaking your wrists, open hand striking. You're not going in there with Bruce Lee shit, you're not going in there with Muhammad Ali shit. You're going in there with super functional blunt force trauma. So I want you to think about your business and think about your approach to business. There's elements of the business that by nature are sophisticated, yeah. But fundamentally, especially for small businesses, what's going to give you the result, give you the success that you want in business, the growth you want in business, is by smashing away on a handful of super functional things. I talked on Monday about sales and delivery. Within that, there's nuances and there's complicated processes, etc. I get that, but I said about keeping your focus top level. When we're on the street, you're not trying to bring in all of your martial arts training. You're there to get a simple result. They say a fight that goes on for more than 3 seconds on the street is a fight that's too long. You're not squaring up with your opponent. You fight dirty, you cheat, you get the result. You don't sit there and try and look flashy, look good in front of your friends. If you do, you're going to be flat on your back before you know it. You're in there, blunt force trauma. You go into the kickboxing ring, it's basics, basics, basics. Yes, you're there, you might be fighting for minutes, maybe even multiple minutes, multiple rounds of multiple minutes. So of course, it might not be quite as blunt force trauma as you would on the street. Martial arts in the dojo, doing your kata, your sets, whatever it is. I haven't done those things for many, many, many years. I moved away from that probably in my early 20s. But That's where you do all that kind of work. In business, we can get so caught up in the micro elements of running a business that we forget the blunt force trauma that gets us results. Let's say sales, for example. So many people hide from sales. I talked about this on Monday. They hide behind marketing. And when they get into marketing, they get all complicated with their marketing. Rather than what they need to do is go out there and sell. We grew our business to 150 grand off networking alone. Did we do marketing? Yes. Did we put stuff out on social media? Of course we did. But I'll tell you now, the sales came from networking and almost networking alone to 150K. We went from 150K to 250K by bringing in referral systems and referral partners. And that's still today the majority of how we continue to grow our business. Increasingly, we are bringing in more sophisticated marketing. However, within that marketing, we keep it as streamlined and as simple as we possibly can. We're not doing a million different things, a million different platforms. We keep it really straightforward. This podcast is a big part of what I would call our marketing, our outreach program, getting my content in front of other people. It's here. I'm giving it unconditionally, but through the very nature of me being here, it does attract people to us. But I promise you, if I was just doing this purely for sales, there's other things I could be doing with my time right now that would work out much, much better. As your business grows, as it becomes more sophisticated, you get to put more energy, time, and money into the things that will pay off later. This podcast will pay off in a much bigger picture in a longer term future. If you're a business owner doing 20, 30, 40K, 50K, maybe even just doing maybe 100K already, you're doing well. But trust me, you'd still be best served by blunt force trauma. What gets you the results? If it's networking, you do more networking. If it's one type of client or one type of client base, don't diversify. Keep smashing that client base. If it's an advert that works, keep repeating that advert. If it's a message that works, keep repeating that message. Yes, you adapt. Yes, you evolve. Of course you will. But fundamentally, you want to just keep smashing away on that line. It's working. Imagine there's a brick wall in front of you want to smash through a brick wall. You could go away and chip away every single brick and eventually the wall might collapse. Or you get a massive great sledgehammer and you just smash your way straight through the middle of that wall and you just keep hitting the same spot over and over and over. Almost certainly that's going to be the quickest, most effective, most efficient way of getting through that wall. And in your business, it's exactly the same with the walls that you face trying to grow a small business from startup, maybe through the early five figures, 20, 30, 40K, 50K. There's walls that prevent you and stop you, that hold you back from achieving 100K plus. You want to smash through those walls. And a lot of what I talk about on my 6-figure fast track, you'll see the link to that, by the way, in the descriptions below. I talk about it's really simplification. Simplify what works, what isn't working. Disregard what isn't working. Use more of what is working. Keep it simple. Keep it basic. Don't make it complicated. Stop going on all these courses. Stop reading all these books and trying to implement all these incredibly complicated strategies. They may be useful for you at some point in the future. Right now, what you need to do is what works, what's functional, what's going to get you the result, and you want to hammer it and keep hammering it and keep hammering it, and you'll keep getting the result. Then as your business grows, it will become more sophisticated. You can then start applying a more sophisticated approach to your business. But trust me, you always want to keep your eye on the 1, 2, 3 handful of things that really deliver the result. And you keep hammering those and hammering those way through your hundreds of turnover in terms of thousands, way into when you're doing £1 million of business. Yes, of course, there's a lot more to take care of when you are a multi-million pound business, but you never want to take your eye off blunt force trauma. Where are we having the biggest bang for our buck? Where are we getting the biggest result? What's working for us? You might have multiple things working for you when you're doing multiple of hundreds in turnover of thousands. Right now, if you're doing 20, 30, 40K, the chances are it's one thing. You might have a backup thing. Smash it, hammer it, blunt force trauma, get through that wall, take yourself to the next level, reassess. Much of what you were doing before will still be relevant. Some of it won't be. You disregard that. You'll need to bring in some new stuff, but probably not a lot. You bring that in, you go again, you smash through the next wall. I'm a big proponent of blunt force trauma. It's a lot of what I teach in my self-defense days, my street fighting days, and it's a lot of what I teach right now in business and in our success groups. In fact, we apply what we call the SAFE methodology. It's exactly the same methodology that I used to apply in my self-defense days. SAFE, S-A-F-E. S, simple. It needs to be simple, not complicated. A, it needs to be accessible. That flying loopy kick when the ground's wet and you're in patent shoes and you're a couple of beers down and you're on the street, trust me, that flying kick's not going to be there for you, even for the best martial artists. And I promise you, I've seen a few calamities in my time. So it needs to be accessible. You need to be able to use it when you need it. F, functional. It needs to do what it's designed to do. There's no point sitting there jabbing someone, hooking someone, grappling someone. There's no point doing these things if it's not getting the result you want. On the street, as I said before, if the fight goes more than 3 seconds, that's probably 2 seconds too long. So it needs to be functional. E, effective. It needs to get that result. So it needs to be simple, accessible, functional, and effective. It's exactly what we apply today across the whole of our success groups. We dumb it down, we simplify. Sometimes it seems too bloody obvious what I'm suggesting to people, but I promise you, after 10 years of working with small, ambitious business owners, having run my own businesses as well, I start to realize that actually success is much more about what you don't do than what it is that you do. 90+% of everything you're taught, 90+% of everything you think you need to be doing is ineffective. It's not functional and it's not going to get you the result that you want. It's probably about 10 or 20% of everything you're doing right now that's going to get you the majority of the result that you're looking for. When we hone in on those things, that's when we can get some massive performance increases and we can start to get big growth in our business. So over the weekend, have a think. What is simple, accessible, functional, and effective for you? Go out there, maybe start applying some blunt force trauma from Monday onwards, maybe before, get the result that you want to get. Of course, you have to learn, you have to adapt, and then you go again until you really streamline down what are the handful of things that give me the majority of the result that I'm after. If you're interested in finding out a little bit more about myself and what we're doing with our members, our ambitious business owners just like you, whether they're just launching their business, whether they're doing 20, 30, 40, 50K and striving for that 100K turnover, or whether they're already doing multiple hundreds and looking to scale their business beyond that, then please do go and check out our website, biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk. If you're brave enough and you're ready and you want to have a chat with us, then why not reach out to Tracy Miller, my partner in life and in business. Her email address is tracy@biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk. I'll put all those links in the descriptions of this episode. You'll also see some links there to some other resources to help you on your ongoing journey of entrepreneurism and business growth. Fill your boots with those free resources. Reach out to us and ask how we can help you get where you want to get to faster, more easily, and get you further than you ever thought possible. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Until then, as always, be successful.
Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.